I didn't want. I went back yesterday. And I was looking through almost something. I've got all the. I need to declutter. I need to. Well, it basically comes down to the why. So I got everything out of my bag and laid it out and went like, why?
Why what?
Why is that now taking the ride on the line?
Well, but that was a good question. You forgot. That was a good question. You just forgot to answer the question.
Oh.
You asked why, and then you went for it's a load of rubbish. It's not a very good answer. Doesn't show a lot of curiosity. We'll get there. Yeah.
Every time I think I'm doing alright.
Why is this? Maybe that's the problem.
Well, I think I'm doing alright.
I'm not saying that you should think the opposite. By the way.
No.
I'm saying that you shouldn't think either way.
No.
People fall a lot into those like the self-perception trap. Like I think I'm doing okay. Like yesterday I was teaching a student and I'm writing an exercise on the board and I say like, this is a tricky one. He's looking at it. Seems to be pretty straightforward. And I'm like, what did I just say?
Yeah, you're not going to say...
difficult.
Yeah, that's the thing, you're not going to say this is a pretty tricky one. Just
And I'm not... the reason why I was like, come on.
No, but...
was because he was like, it looks alright.
I've got this.
On paper.
When you...
Bro, do it first and then...
Yeah.
Right? And of course it was very difficult. He couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, it's self-perception. Like, I think I got it. And then we keep the expectations.
Yeah, but that's very much it. You think you've got it looking at it and then you go like, right, do it, and it's like, okay.
But it's all about expectations. If you keep the expectations too low or too high, you're either way screwed.
Yeah.
Either way you're screwed.
Well, see, I've always been blamed for being a perfectionist. I don't think I am. I just think all perfectionists are is they want a continuous high standard.
I don't know about that. There's many kinds of being many kinds of perfectionists. There's the perfectionist who's so obsessed about perfection that he actually doesn't really pursue anything. Because it's either perfect or nothing. That's a kind of perfectionist. And then there's the kind of perfectionist who can't let go because he's always like, no, it's gotta be bad, it's gotta be bad, it's gotta be bad, you can't let go. Right? Just let go. Move on. What are you doing? You've been doing this like that's something that so you're saying like I think you are kind of a textbook perfectionist. It's either all or nothing, or you can let go. And then you just look.
That's what Archie's always said. With diving.
I think you are a very detailed-oriented person, which it's not a bad thing necessarily, but you don't know how to manage that, and you don't know how to not become compulsive about it. Obsessive compulsive.
Okay.
Right? Which links back to being a perfectionist. You become OCD about things. Like, this is why you lose track of time and you spend 3 hours looking at a pad doing can. That's being OCD. You're not actually achieving anything. Like OCD people, right? Like doorknob. They get stuck. What's the motivation? They want to be perfect at locking the door. That's the motivation, and I also have that motivation, don't I? When I leave the house, I make sure the door's locked. But I do it once. That's the difference. OCD people get stuck. Because they got to make sure again. No, I gotta make sure again. I gotta make sure again. I gotta make sure. And then they get stuck. Literally, it creates a feedback loop. I'm not saying that you are OCD, I'm saying that you become OCD, right? Let's make a distinction in that very specific situation, not in general, right? Because OCD is of course a disease, right? It's a disorder. So I'm not saying that you are OCD, that you have OCD, but we can all, myself included, become OCD about certain stuff. Right? And we can't unlatch. It gets to a point that we're just stuck in that cycle. Whine, gang. And we're actually not even present anymore. It just becomes like a loop. It's a loop. You're stuck in a loop. But perfectionists are known for, again, some kinds of perfectionists are known exactly for getting stuck in those loops because they can't let go. They can't let go. It's not perfect yet, but they're actually not doing anything to perfect it either. It just becomes, it becomes toxic after a while.
Consume. Just becomes consumed.
Yeah. Right. So I would say that from that viewpoint, you are a textbook perfectionist. You have a hard time, and I'm sure you can relate to that and see it, because you are also perceptive. But you are perceptive once you are broken away from the loop. Like, stop it, and you're like, oh yeah, what am I doing? But you're stuck. Right up until that moment, you were stuck. Oh, what? That's what you need to create mechanisms yourself, so you slap yourself out of those loops, so it doesn't have to be always someone else. And you need to be independent in that process, which, for example, I'm capable of doing that, right? I'm practicing something, gets to a point, I pull the plug and I move on, right? I'm capable of
I'm bad for that.
But that's the thing.
How do you untrain yourself? Is there ways to...
Okay.
Well, no. Of course there's ways. It's how.
Yes. So, but you know how. I've been telling you that for many months, and especially more intensely during the past week. I gave you multiple.
You did. You practice plan and
practice plan,
half an hour
and time. That's all you need. That's the other thing about perfectionists. It's either perfect or nothing. See, again, you either think that it's the perfect secret pill that's going to solve your problem, or you're going to stay the same. That's the other thing about perfectionists. It's either perfect or nothing. Perfect meaning, how am I 101% sure that that's going to work? I'm not, so I'm not even trying that. Right? So that's why you keep asking the same questions. That's the other thing about perfectionists. How do I fix that? Times. Yeah, but how do I fix that? That's the other loop. It doesn't matter if you only, who cares if you only have 51% chances of succeeding using that strategy? Try it. Do it. That's the other thing about people who are obsessed with that idea of perfect. It's a very binary way of seeing the world. Perfect or failure. And there is no such thing. That's not how life is supposed to be lived. In my opinion. I don't think and from what I observe, it doesn't really lead to anything good. Those people struggle. People who see the world in such binary terms struggle a lot with progress. They struggle with self-development. They struggle with themselves. Because everything is either labeled perfect or failure. And you know what the problem about that really is? Is there anything perfect? No. So everything is failure. That's a terrible way of living a life, man. Right? Everything is failure. If those are the only two categories, you're fucked. Basically, everything's failure. You're already assigning that it's either black or white. Well, there's no white, everything's black. Right? It's a terrible way of living a life. It's a very toxic way of living a life. It's a very weird thing to aim at. I mean, we should aim high, but not at something that is idealistic.
I don't know where it came from.
But it always comes from somewhere. And I would definitely ask the question for your own reorganization of your thoughts and mental structures. But again, I think that's a topic for meditation. To go inside and ask the questions, right? Which is what meditation is. But besides the where did it come from, there's also, okay, where am I going? Where am I going then? I'm here, this is not working, so where am I going? I need to change my, I need to change, maybe I even need to change the whole map, let alone the destination. Maybe this whole thing is fucked and twisted and corrupted. I need to get rid of that, find a new map. I would say that there's no such thing as perfect nor failure. Why not get rid of those two immediately? Right? There's no perfect, there's no failure. So what are we left with? It would, in this case, we would end up with a word that you don't use. Because you've been labeling the world black and white. Or in this case, it's even just black or white. They don't even meet, it's just black or white. So what would be the word that we could use to replace those two very extreme labels?
Grey.
But give me okay, that would be the color, right, within that spectrum. But what's the word? If there's no perfect and there's no failure, grey is a word, but to replace perfect and failure, because we're labeling everything in extremes. So what's the thing that you could and should and would aim at that would get rid of this binary sort of thinking?
Trying.
Trying is a dangerous word, I'll tell you why. Trying has giving up embedded in it.
Yeah.
I'll try.
Yeah. Oh, that would go good.
I'll try. Not a big fan of trying.
Okay.
I'm not.
It's either do or don't.
It's not about that. It's like, yes, well, fair enough. But it's the try has an exit plan embedded in the word, and because then you can always go like, whoa, I tried, didn't work out.
Yeah.
There's a better word here. Okay, I'll try to guide you through this process because this is difficult. You're literally coming up with a new map. For you, you have two destinations. It's either perfect, which doesn't exist, or it's a failure, which does exist, but what's the point in it, right? Or what's the point in thinking in those terms? I don't see much of a point, personally. From experience as well, because you know how they say it takes one to see one. So let's say you're trying to learn a new exercise, or even an old exercise. It doesn't really matter for the context. And you're trying to learn it, and you're trying to get to, let's say, 100 BPM by the end of the week. Okay. You start on Monday, and then you told yourself by Friday I'm going to be playing this at 100 BPM. We get to Friday, and you are playing it at 90 BPM. How would you describe that result, the outcome? Say it. You're smiling. You want to say something. Just say it. You gotta say it.
Yeah.
Right? Because otherwise it becomes you start talking to yourself instead of putting it out there.
At this, literally now, this current juncture,
Right now.
I wouldn't cope with it.
But what would you say? What would you describe it? How would you describe it? What would be the adjective? Like you would look at it, 90 BPM, and then you'd be like, oh, this is such a, fill the blank.
I'd probably just, well, no, not probably, I know. I'd give up the exercise and probably just
Because you would consider that to be what?
That I hadn't reached the goal set out to.
Which means what?
And program myself to
No, but how would you see it? How would you see it? What would you describe that as? You get to Friday, it's 90 BPM. I can also add that you started at 60 BPM on Monday. You set yourself a goal to reach 100 BPM. You get to Friday, it's 90. Would you describe that?
Yeah, so changing it negative, I'd look at that as process. You haven't, in a positive light, I'd look at that as positive process. You haven't quite reached the goal, but you've improved.
Okay.
You've increased it from.
You did. But today, what would you call that?
Today, as I am currently, if I was honest, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
No, I understand that, but I need the word. Because you need to hear the word.
I'd see it as failure.
There you go. But you see how much you were dodging to say the word?
And then
That's also relevant, right?
I'd reinforce it by...
But even in the process of saying the word, you were trying to avoid saying it because you know that if you put it out there, you take away power from it. That's why you couldn't say failure. You were just like, I wouldn't cope, I wouldn't dodge. Although I can see it in your face, failure.
I know, I've never met anyone like you.
The thing about saying those words out loud is that they lose power. Because we go like, I would say failure. Ah, that's stupid. They lose power. Inside your skull all goes. We can say to ourselves even the nastiest stuff we could say to any human being, we say to ourselves secretly. Secretly. People say the nastiest shit to themselves. But they wouldn't say it out loud. Or at least with an audience in front of them. Even an audience of one. Why is that? Because they know how ridiculous most of that shit is. And they would lose power. And they don't want it to lose power, because otherwise, how do I punish myself? Yeah. We gotta say it. We gotta say it and be like, that's... Huh? And you hear it, you go like, did I just say that? That's ridiculous. Because that's a different voice, the one that speaks inside. That's not the same voice who lives in this world, that's the voice who wants you to suffer. We are human beings, by the way. Like, let's not mess around here with the words. We are suffering machines. And I'm not gonna be... You're never gonna hear me say, like, we should all be happy. I don't think so. I think that by now, if that were the case, we would have sorted that out. The happiness issue. So that, which is okay. I don't think we are supposed to be happy. I think we are supposed to have meaning in life and purpose.
I generally think a lot of it comes from, and this isn't it, yeah, this isn't it. It all sounds excuse, but I think a lot of it came from, with the accent, there was clear things wrong, and then I kind of like, once thing, I find I'm fine when I'm learning, and then things come down and go onto a plateau, you know, where you're in that constant learning phase.
Yeah.
And everything's going along nicely. And I almost find I have to create things, you know what I mean? Because I'm used to getting over obstacle. So I've created negative obstacles rather than saying, like with a drum fill going, oh, I've got to 90, I haven't quite got to 100, you know what I mean? And whereas that's like a positive hurdle to get over, if you know what I mean. Rather than, but
of course
I've
I know what
said
you
it for
mean.
so long.
Yes, but that's
So
why
I
we need
meet
to say it out
someone like
loud.
you, and then I'm going like, whoa.
But that's why we need to say it out loud, right? So we go like, I would call that a failure.
But you've got to
And then you start hearing it. You're like,
you've got to look at, well, I improved from 60.
exactly. So what is the word that we should
So the only time it's fair is if you started on, yeah. So if you started on Monday at 60 and on Friday you were still at like 65 or something.
That's failure? What I'm hearing is that you increase 5 BPM.
It's the old cup half empty thing, isn't it?
Can you give me a scenario where failure would be a justifiable term to... That's not a good one. You still improved. How can there be failure in improvement?
When you say it's like you say when you say it sounds funny.
Yeah,
If you like,
because it is kind of stupid.
to me it's like you've got
No, but give me the scenario where failure would be actually a justifiable word to assess the outcome. Because I'm not going to be selling you the idea that there is no failure.
Oh no.
But we need to understand what failure is, though. Because otherwise failure is everything but perfection. And that's ridiculous. That's not real. That's not real. Like, that's how people end up in toxic negative cycles in their own minds. Because they project unattainable goals, and then everything is failure. Everything about them is failure. From drumming to life to diet to relationships, because they just they come up with these stupid goals that godlike people achieve, and then you're a failure. Could we be always aiming at failing? It sounds like it. So what's the real scenario where failure would be a justifiable way to look at it?
And if you killed yourself?
No.
Oh.
We don't need to be that drastic.
Oh.
That's a big fail. I would say so. But let's go back to drums.
Alright, drumming, yeah.
I'm still using the same scenario. You're learning something, you started at 60 BPM, you projected yourself a goal, the goal that you wanted to achieve 100 BPM by Friday. In that scenario, what would failure be?
Failure, if you didn't try. So
If you didn't practice, right?
yeah, so you say, right, I want to get to 100 by Friday, and then you just went, and that's it.
Yes, that's failure.
No action, that's the word. That you didn't, you just went, yeah, I want to get to 100 by Friday. And you look at the drums and go, you didn't make me get to 100 by Friday. It's your fault.
That's failure.
When you don't try.
When you don't do. Don't like the word try.
No. When you don't do.
Right? You use the good word, action, right? When you don't act. If you don't act, yeah.
See, this is what's up. This is a really, honestly, this is like a really good conversation, because that's what I do. I'll set a goal and then I don't act on it. And then I push for a go. Or you'll have a go for like...
Let's continue that, following that thought. You come up with a goal and then you don't act on it. What can we do? That's the other thing. We have to start setting our conversation up in a towards a goal way instead of away from a goal way. We still talk a lot like, you know, what I don't do, what I don't, can't. Okay, what can you do? But what? Okay, you come up with a goal. Because you said, I come up with a goal and then I don't act. Okay, let's put that in the positive way. In a towards way instead of an away way.
Yeah.
What would you do then? Instead?
Do it.
No, okay, but that's easy said than done, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we need to be smart.
Yeah.
You come up with a goal.
You got to plan.
You got to plan. What are a couple of ways where you could make it easier for yourself to, to make yourself disciplined and accountable and all that? Are there any ways that we could, perhaps tools that we could use to make it easier? It's not supposed to be more difficult, man. Discipline doesn't have to be all that difficult. It really doesn't.
I think that's
it really doesn't.
perception, isn't it?
It really doesn't have to.
They say, when people say discipline, it's difficult. It's like, it's just a set of goals, I suppose, or a routine, or...
Okay, so what can we do in order to make it easy for you to make the transition from setting goals and then giving them up to instead set a goal and follow through? What can we use? Let's come up with actually strategies. Let's leave the philosophy and let's actually okay, I'm here, I see what you're saying, I hear you, it makes sense, life is not black or white, now what? Right?
It goes back to,
So what do you do?
like I was saying yesterday, which I've never thought about. It's not exactly the same, but with diving, you plan a dive, you dive, you plan. Same with the drumming.
Okay, but tell me how you make the plan. I want to hear everything.
So, choose what you want to achieve, set a time limit, stick to that time limit, work out, and then the actual thing itself, work out, so it goes back to the 5 things.
Let me ask you a question. That's all nice and dandy for an hour. How do I know that you'll do it the next day?
It's all about repetition.
How will you ensure that that's going to happen? Are there any tools that could make it easier for you to stay disciplined? Is there anything that you could use?
A practice plan, practice diary.
Yes, okay. That's good. But a practice diary is being filled in when you practice. What if you don't practice?
Reminders on a phone.
Good. We're getting there.
So you could set yourself alarm reminders.
Should we perhaps add a, like you set a reminder on your schedule, right, on your phone? Comes up. Perhaps we should be persistent because this is going to be a transition, right? So maybe we should make sure that it's got some sort of keyword in the reminder that it's going to poke a certain part of your mind, your psyche, your being, that you won't drift away from it. I'll give you my example. I'm a fairly tough guy, mentally, spiritually. Like I'm a tough shell. I just am, right? That's not just me. My life experience helped, but my dad is also a tough guy.
Like experience.
But my dad is also a tough guy. That's just how I am. I'm kind of a tough guy. The way I speak, the way I am, the way I think. And tough guys are tough to convince to do stuff that they don't want to do. So if I set a reminder saying go to the gym and I don't feel like it, I'm a tough guy, so I'm not gonna go. Right? That's how I think. I don't say these things out loud. These are how my thoughts sound like. Not going! So I'm smart. I trick myself into not falling into those traps. So I write things like, I'll give you an example. Now, I would use keywords like gym, in brackets, no snoozing. Right, so when gym comes up and it says no snoozing, I'm like, okay. Because it sort of defeats me the fact that I knew beforehand that I would be tempted to hit snooze.
Oh, yeah, see what you mean.
So it defeats me in advance.
Yeah.
So I'm like, alright, let's go. Or, reminder to take care of your emails, and then in brackets, more time for your son. So that there's a reason for why, like, take care of your fucking emails so you can then play with your son.
I see where you're going. Yeah.
It can't just be emails.
Yeah, because it's like...
Then it's
what's
like,
the reason
fuck
it's on
emails,
your
I'll do them
emails?
tomorrow.
Yeah. So that's another... Yeah, I never thought of it like that.
I for example, on Fridays, my morning is dedicated to new classes, new projects, new ideas. That's what it says on my schedule. But then in brackets, it says no ego. So I'm in the right mindset to not come up with bullshit projects just because they make me feel good, but actual projects that have value.
That makes sense. See where you...
Right, so I'm always catching myself in advance. So that thing, and of course, how many times do you think I need to see that reminder until I already know that it's a no ego project, or that email should be done on Wednesdays, not whenever I feel like it, because more time with my... How many times? Twice? 3 times? That's it. I don't remove it. It still says the same. I don't change it. But I don't even need to see the poke anymore. It's already there. Here. It's already here after a while. Because then you're also doing it, and you become what you practice, right? So if I'm sat down at Starbucks or whatever, working on new projects, and I'm like, no ego, it helps me, because when I'm coming up with a project and I think like, I just don't really feel like doing this, it's going to be a lot of work. No ego! Right? It comes back, like, no, that's ego talking, it's going to be a lot of work, I want to protect myself. Then I gotta be like, no ego, stop thinking like that, do it. And you train yourself to... But it's a process, right? You keep on calibrating, and then... Our goals, like, the way I see it, life is like this. You define a goal. Right? And you're here. Your goal is there. And we perceive these things as being a straight line. Right? That's your plan. Your plan's beautiful. It's going to be a straight line. I'm going to do this today, tomorrow. Come. It's a straight line. It's so pretty. Here's what you actually do. Right? You go over the goal, you didn't even see it, right? Which is normal. We all do that. But the only way to actually achieve the goal properly is that you accept that you will wobble. That's normal. But you are in constant self-assessment.
Trying to learn something.
You are in constant self-assessment. Constant self-assessment. Then you get there.
That's fair enough.
But you are in constant, like you start to drift away.
You bring yourself back. Yeah.
And then you're going to swing too far the other way. Oh, a little bit less. It's like, it's almost like, you can imagine a sound wave. Down here it's very whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose think about it like when you're tuning a guitar and it's out, and then once you get it on note, it's like...
And what's that called? When you hit the note?
Chromatics, is it? No.
Nope.
Harmonics.
Harmony.
Oh, harmony.
You are in harmony with life. That's what it means. And down here...
Is that where harmonics come from then? Does that mean balance? Does that mean harmony mean balance or not?
Harmony, it means effectively synchronicity.
Okay.
Like, it's this. In sound, that's what it is. There's one sound on here, and the other one is in perfect harmony with it. Which is where you get a chord from. Down here, you are in disarray.
Disarray, I was going to say, yeah.
One wave is like this is your goal, and you're like this. Right, and you're trying to find it, but then you think, I lost it. Right, because we keep coming back, right, and then think, I almost had it. And, here I go again. If we are always self-assessing, we don't go on weird tangents that just get us lost. We keep reverting, where am I going? Gotta go back, oh, went too far, gotta go back. And then you don't have to go back anymore. And this phenomenon appears in multiple different places in life. Your timekeeping. Play the drums. Maybe the click is the goal. You're close. Uh-oh, bring it back. Oh, you went too far, you're speeding up now. Bring it back, you're there. Your goals in life. I want to get that job. Okay, what do I need to do to get that job? Do I know enough to get that job? Don't think so. Okay, can I read a book on how to do that job well? Think so. Okay, look it up. Oh, there's a book. Alright, buy the book. Read the book. Take notes. Alright, this is you now walking. Reading the book, is that applying for the job? No. But are you that off target? No. Right, so you're going on a little journey sideways, but you're gonna come back. And when you do, checkpoint. You've got a bit more knowledge. Okay, what's the next step? I gotta clean up my CV. Go on another journey. Clean up your CV. Come back. Check in. Right? Okay, it's clean. What else do I need to do? Do I know anyone in that industry? No. Maybe I should network. Go on another journey. Do some network, right? So think about it. That's your job. That's you. Okay. I don't know enough. Go get some knowledge. Okay. Check. You come back. Need to clean up my CV. Alright, you're not yet applying for the job, so you go on another sideways journey. Check. Network. Check. I've met 2 people. See, they're getting shorter, because you're getting closer. The amount of, or the size of the tangent becomes smaller. Then here, maybe you have to learn, who the companies are, what companies exist.
Find out about them. Yeah.
Jobs. Right? Check, I've got 5 companies that sound pretty good for me. Okay. Send CV. Interview. Probation period.
So like.
Job. The problem is that people just want to go from here to there and not do any of that. So they don't seek harmony, so what happens? They try to go straight from today to job, and then
I must admit, the job I've got now, I did a course like that, and I ended up transitioning and getting this job. Completely opposite to what I've always done.
Was that the job that you wanted?
I just wanted a job in Harrogate. I looked at what was in Harrogate, what my skill set was.
Okay, that's more specific.
And to change. So it was like, I've got out of the engineering administration, and I need a job. What skills? What jobs are available? And then what skill sets do I have?
I would have flipped it. If I were to be coaching you at that time, I would have flipped that for you. What skills do you have, and then what jobs do you have available?
To be honest, there was the element that I'd said to her.
But you told me backwards.
Yeah.
Twice.
Right, okay.
So it's not an accident. You said it twice.
Yeah.
I looked for jobs and then I saw what skills I had. My whole career was built upon the fact that I knew what my skills were.
Yeah.
And then I would go out there and send CVs. My CV is still today, although I don't send CVs to anyone, obviously.
Yeah.
But my CV is still today is not really a list of jobs that I've had. It's what I do. That's what my CV says. Here's why you want me.
Yeah.
Because I'm the best at what I do. That's why you want me, right? That's what my CV has always been about. And that's a great CV. That's a CV that gets you jobs.
I must admit, the job I've got now is like the CEO and stuff, like the massive. Well, it's the head of the group basically. Yeah. I did his car for him. He's like, yeah, because that's because I'm obsessed with it. He's like, boom. You asked me to clean. Like people say to me, can you clean my car? And I'm like, I don't clean cars. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a valet. I prep cars to you know what I mean?
I don't.
Wipe it.
That's not what I do.
No, but it's the same as you. It's the same equivalent of the way you.
Sure. No, I understand the mindset, but I don't know what your job is about, right? So that's the thing.
Basically, I clean.
No, I know what I think your job is about.
Oh, go on, then.
You clean cars.
Yeah.
But you're telling me that you don't. So what do you do? What's your elevator? You know what the elevator pitch is? You got 6 seconds to tell me what to do. What do you do? And sell it to me? That's a great skill to hone, by the way. The elevator pitch. You got 6 seconds, because that's more or less how long you've got with someone. If
because that's something like Dragon's Den, isn't it? Where they've only got that boom.
No, that's not true. They have like 3 hours to make that presentation.
Oh, do it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. TV again.
Yeah, that's all, what you see is edited.
Yeah.
It's not theater, it's edited.
Yeah.
It's watered down, but they've got a long time to do it.
Okay.
But in networking, for example, sometimes you only have 6 seconds with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
These people are. You think that if I'm at a social event, let's say, and someone comes to me because they recognize me because they're a drummer or whatever, and this has happened before at workshops or stuff like that, they go like, "Hey, like what's up?" In my mind, I'm counting 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, see you later. I'm done.
Okay.
So if you want to sell me something, you better be quick. Because I've got another 200 people to talk to.
Yeah, see.
I'm not going to give you half an hour of my time, right? Just out of the blue. It's funny, the other day I was walking down through town with my son. And there's this guy just outside giving out leaflets, right? And it was a very teachable moment for my son, because he keeps saying, the sales guy keeps saying, he said something, blah, 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 what the thing was about the leaflet. I didn't quite catch it, but then he was like, it's free, it's free, it's free, like just being cheeky. Like, and I looked at him, I kind of slowed down, I had my son in my arms, and I looked at him like, you see, nothing really is free. And he goes like, I'm gonna change your mind about that. And I'm like, how much do you think my time is worth? Bye. Because nothing is free. I'm not free. If you were to talk to me, you better pay me.
Yeah.
I was being funny as well,
No,
obviously.
yeah.
But, you know, Nothing is free. So you've got I'll give you 6 seconds for free. Then I'm gonna start invoicing you. You know, again, it's all tongue in cheek, but you get the point. We gotta be assertive. And the same thing again, it's all about finding that calibration. What do you do? X, Y, and Z. Can you sell it to me so I feel like... The goal when you're selling something, that being yourself as a product provider, which you are, is that by the end of those 6 seconds, my response is, take my money. Is it not? Or do you want a second and a third and the fourth meeting? No. 6 seconds, here, take my money. It's a good skill to hone. The elevator pitch. If you are stuck in an not stuck, but if you're coming down the elevator like with someone else,
if you think like you're in an elevator with,
you just go. Just go.
Yeah, say for instance you were in. Yeah, it's a good.
If someone goes like, so what do you do?
You got in an elevator and Benny Greb got in an elevator, and you think.
What do?
You got 6 seconds to, you know what I mean?
Which is until he has to get off the
elevator,
lift.
It's the ground floor.
No, he gets off at the first floor, you get off at the ground floor. You're not even going to walk together afterwards. That's it, gone.
Yeah.
Oof. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a good.
1, 2, 3, and you got... And you can, like, that sort of stuff can be practiced. You can time yourself. Set up a timer on your phone. 6 seconds. And you can go start, like, most people clean cars. What I do is... You can do that in 6 seconds. Makes you a more assertive person in the way you communicate. Makes you a more appealing person. Because people won't be tempted to zone out.
Yeah.
Because you tau, 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 tau. Makes it exciting because it's fast and fast paced. And you have to clean up the speech. There's no room for ums and ums and and
yeah.
It's really good. It's a really good skill to develop.
I say that with a diving room. It's like a briefing is meant to be brief.
Yes.
That's
but this is beyond brief.
That's like, yeah, but sort of using that mindset, it's like a briefing is meant to be brief. That's why we call it brief.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, I like to talk. I've got those 2 gears in me. I like to talk. If people like, I'm a great guy, for example, to have you know, a podcast with for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. But at the same time, I also have that other gear where I can go like first, and I just get my stuff out quick. I don't go like, in a few words, I don't know, because I've practiced that, by the way. Because the first time I was asked for an elevator pitch, I went like, I'm a drum teacher. And everyone looked at me like, okay, time's up. Oh, this is weird. Right. Okay, so let me try that again. I'm the best drum teacher. Right? And you keep on developing that pitch, which is also a ridiculous pitch, by the way, don't do that. But you get the point. You improve on it, you tweak it, you smoothen the edges. Alright, so that's mindset taken care of.
That's therapy over.
I don't like to call it therapy. I'm gonna call it coaching. It's coaching.
No, but that's it. Well, no, there we go. No.
Coaching.
Yeah. They're the bits that do help because the playing's one side, but the psychological mindset
of course
of overcoming
the only reason why I like coaching better, actually there's 2 reasons. First of all, I can't call it therapy because I'm not a therapist.
Yeah, so it's, yeah.
But I do look at myself as a coach. Yeah. So, it is coaching in my book.
Yeah, but it is a form of...
But I can't call it that. Even legally I can't say that. So, it's coaching. I like coaching.
Yeah.
I'm coaching you guys through all these mindset issues.
Yeah. definitely. But I mean, that is a huge. That is a huge.
It's huge. It's the inner. It's the inner game.
I say that's even more. Like, as important as the playing side of it, if not more so.
I think it's more.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think
it's more.
That side is more.
Which is why I insist on it so much. Because my value as a coach for you is not to teach you how to play a f***ing paradiddle. You can go on YouTube for that. This is not 1980 anymore. I don't need to teach anyone to play a paradiddle. I need to teach people how to stick to it when it gets hard. That's my job.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's play some music.